All right, guys. That's how I'm going to open today's show. That's one of my favorite plays of all time. Roy Williams supermaning over Texas lineman there. Teddy Lehman getting the easy touchdown. Great play. We need to see more of that. I'd love to see some more defense like that soon. Um, so on that note, I'm going to go right into college football. A little bit to talk about there with the Big Ten and the Pac-12 both opting out for the season. They're both saying they want to try to play in the spring due to the coronavirus. There's good things and some bad things that can come out of that. Bad things, I mean, if you're Ohio State or, Oregon, teams like that who could compete for a championship every single game, and you're not getting to because your season's just automatically canceled, it's pretty bad. Um, it hurts a lot of seniors. Seniors won't, that are going to be in the draft, they're not going to be able to play for the spring ball. They're going to go straight to go to NFL and play professional. So there's a lot that needs to happen for that to be an actually good thing. But the good notes, you get spring football. I love football. Football's my favorite sport. And we get spring football, we get fall football, so I'm okay with this right now. It's not the teams I'd like to watch, but it is teams, it is football, and so that's where we are. Now, the Big 12, SEC, and the ACC are all going to continue playing football this fall. They've already released the Big 12 schedule, and I'm okay with it. I really am. I'm glad to see that we are still playing football. We are still trying. The virus isn't going anywhere, so we should continue to move on with our lives, and that's just how I feel. So that's really all I can say about college football right now until we actually get going into it. But hopefully this season will be a lot of fun. There's going to be more pressure. There's going to be more opportunity for those three conferences to make the playoff. So there should be a lot more competitive games. There should be a lot more fun. I'm really looking forward to it. All right. So that's my show, or this is my show, Sports Life, guys. I'm Ryan. So I'm going to talk about the NBA now. I got quite a bit of discussions on it. We've got four teams playing in for a playoff spot in the West. Everybody else is pretty much locked up. I'm going to start with those four teams. You got the Trailblazers, the Grizzlies, the Suns, and the Spurs. Lots of scenarios could happen where any one of those four teams could make the 8 seed or 9 seed. And you have to be one of those two to get to that play-in spot. So with that, the Trailblazers, who are now the 8 seed, have one of the hottest hands in the league, Damian Lillard, who dropped 61 last night and dropped 51 the game before. The Trailblazers are looking like one of the teams that, if I was the Lakers, I wouldn't want to play. Just for the simple fact that they are playing really good basketball right now. They are all together. Melo's playing some good ball. CJ McCollum can drop 30 in each moment if he wanted to. And then Damian Lillard, he's out of this league right now. He is dropping a lot of points, and he's still getting a lot of assists. He's still playing good basketball all around. It's not just ball hogging the ball. So it's really fun to watch. And the next team, you've got the Grizzlies, who they are struggling. They are really struggling today. And they're hanging on to that 9 seed. If they win today, they get it no matter what. The problem is they are playing the Bucks, who, yes, will be Giannisless, but I think the Bucks get it done today. I think the Grizzlies' playoffs hopes are in a lot of world of hurt. And I think they're probably going to lose today, which will completely ruin their playoffs. Next, you've got the Suns, who haven't lost since they've started the bubble this year. They are 7-0. They have one more game left, and they play the Mavs, who have locked up the 7th seed. They really shouldn't be playing for anything but, just keeping everybody fresh. I think the Suns get it done today. I actually think they're going to jump into the 9 seed where they will play the Trailblazers for that play-in spot. And then there's the Spurs, who are still on that bubble. They need a lot of things to happen, though. They need the Trailblazers, the Grizzlies, and the Suns all lose today. Problem with one of those is they are playing the Trailblazers, so it's going to be kind of tough. And I don't see the Suns losing today. The only one of those teams I see is the Grizzlies. So as much as, Pop should always be in the playoffs, Pop is the greatest coach in basketball history. I just don't think he's got enough firepower to get there. I don't think he's got enough luck to get there. Now, whoever ends up in the 8 seed, whoever ends up winning the play-in, they will have to go face the Lakers. Now, if it's the Trailblazers, I think they will put up a good series. I think it will be fun to watch. A lot of offense. I think the Lakers will get it done, but I think it'll be fun. Now, if the Suns, who I think would be the other play-in team, get there, I think they'll get swept immediately from the playoffs. I don't think they've got enough experience. I don't think they are hot right now. And as Phoenix rising, Phoenix also goes down. So I don't see them being able to keep this momentum going through the playoffs. They've got a lot of young talent. If they can get to a playoff series and get that experience, that would probably be the best thing for them, though. The other matchups in the West, you've got the Clippers versus the Mavs. Clippers should handle the Mavs fairly easy. Kristaps Porzingis is not a really good playoff player to me, I don't think. And the guy's nickname is Unicorn. He's make-believe in the playoffs. That's how I feel. And Clippers have too much talent. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, all supporting cast. They're going to be really tough to beat in the playoffs. Luka, though. Luka's got a very promising future for the Mavs. He is a very talented young player. He has got triple-double after triple-double, and he's only like 23 years old. He might be younger than that. He is a really, really fun person to watch. He has a lot of talent behind him. And everything is going his way. So I really think that Mavs have a lot of potential in the future. Okay, so the next matchup is the Nuggets and the Jazz. And division rivals, fun matchups, lots of you got Gobert versus Jokic, and you got Donovan Mitchell, you've got Mike Conley. It's a lot of good big names over there. A lot of good fun. I think the Nuggets will get it done. I think they are a better all-around team, but the Jazz have a lot of potential in there. And that's probably the best matchup the Jazz could have got. Here's the one that I would like to talk about. And it's a very intriguing matchup to me, not only because I am a Thunder fan, but because it is the Thunder versus the Rockets, who the Rockets have Russell Westbrook. The Thunder's all-time leading scorer, assist person, you name it, he's in there statistically besides, maybe blocks. He is playing really good ball. James Harden's playing really good ball. The Rockets can't win without Russell Westbrook. Now, I actually think this is a best-case scenario for the Thunder. I do think the Thunder will win it. I think it's going to be a long series. I think these teams are going to beat each other up. I think it's going to be smash-mouth basketball, if we can call it that. This is going to be basically the Thunder Rockets season. You win this series, you see what happens next series. But these two teams, they kind of sort of hate each other. They kind of sort of like each other. You got one side that plays very small ball. You got the other side that doesn't play fast at all. They play half-court basketball. and they get into their sets. They get going in their offense. So James Harden's going to put up points. I think if Robertson actually gets in there and plays a little bit harder, James Harden will be shut down in a few games. I think Shea and Chris Paul have got it going. I think the Thunder find a way to pull it out in 7 games. It's going to be a tough series. It's going to be a fun series. I really think this is the opening series of the playoffs to watch. I think it's a lot of fun. And since there's no home team, 4 or 5 doesn't matter. Same thing on the East. 4 or 5 doesn't matter. It's just, you just play. There's no home team. So, all right. I do believe on that 4 or 5 seed in the East that the Heat versus Pacers is a very uneven matchup. I think the Heat will probably win that in about 5. They might take 6, but it's going to be a very, very fast, very... the Pacers really don't stand a chance. They don't have enough firepower to keep up with Butler. They don't have enough firepower to keep up with Harrow. Heat played good defense. It's a very uneven matchup, and I don't think the Pacers have a chance. But TJ Warren's playing really good ball. They could surprise me. Everything could go their way. Everything could go right. So I don't know. We will see. The 3-6 matchup, the Celtics versus Sixers. That could have been interesting if the Sixers could ever get everything to going. Joel Embiid is hurt every other game. Ben Simmons still can't shoot. They're fighting. Shake Milton, Joel Embiid are fighting. Tobias Harris is very inconsistent. I think the Celtics win that one in 4 games. I think it's going to be a clean sweep. I don't think they have very much to worry about just because the Sixers are they're a mess. They have a lot of really great talent, but they can't put it together. And Celtics, they're already there. They're together. So Kemba Walker will be really good in that series. I think Gordon Hayward will actually have a really good series as well. He usually tries to show up in the playoffs. I think they will get it done pretty quick. Same thing with Raptors and Nets. I think that'll be a 4-game series. Raptors really easily. The Nets have got so much people, just so many people hurt. So many people opted out. So many people just not there. It's just the fact that they got to the playoffs. That's very impressive. But the Raptors in 4, definitely. And the Bucks versus the Magic. I think that's a good first-round matchup for the Bucks, so kind of test them a little bit. I think the Bucks will win it, probably about 6 games. The Magic are one of those teams, if they get hot at the right moment, it could be trouble. And so I think the Bucks will run into that a little bit, but overall, the Bucks, to me, are one of the best teams in basketball, if not the best team in basketball right now. They are my picks to win it. I'm still saying that. Now I'll pick them in about 6. So I'm going to go ahead and do my upset pick already. I kind of already mentioned it earlier in the show. I'm going to take the Bucks over the Grizz. I just don't think the Grizz have the right mindset going into this game. I know the Bucks. You asked me how that's an upset. The Bucks don't have Giannis. They'll be probably resting Middleton. They'll probably be resting Connaughton. They'll probably be resting like half their team. And so I actually do believe that is an upset. Memphis is favored by 3 points. The over-under was -3 for Memphis. I'm sorry, the over-under was plus 230. I'm going to say they probably go under 230 points. So that's going to be my upset. And that's my NBA talk for the day. Right. We're going to move on. 4 years ago yesterday, Michael Phelps did something that the world has never seen before. He's the most decorated Olympian of all time. He has 28 total medals, 23 of those being gold, 3 of them being silver, and 2 of them being bronze. I, that just speaks for itself. Michael Phelps was a freak athlete, and yeah, he might have smoked a little weed here and there, but goodness, it showed how much better he was than everybody. And for those of us missed out on the Olympics, I hope we get a lot of fun next year. We get something crazy like that. Simone Biles or anybody who can come and claim the title of most decorated human being in Olympic history. But what Michael Phelps did for swimming in the U.S. was just incredible, and we owe that guy quite a bit. He made the U.S. kind of competitive in the Olympics, and that right there was amazing. So 4 years ago, appreciate everything you did, Michael Phelps. All right, so now I don't talk about hockey much. I don't really watch a lot of hockey like I should. But the NHL playoffs started, and I'm just going to throw out a pick who I think will win the Stanley Cup this year. And it might happen, it might not. It'll just be kind of one of those things that I think will. So I'm going to take the Vegas Golden Knights right now, as the playoffs started, to win the Stanley Cup. And that's really all I got for hockey. I would like to say I watched it more, but I don't. It's kind of hard to watch that as well. All right, so I got a little NFL talk. NFL, there's a lot of things going on. We got training camps about to start up. I've got 2 fantasy drafts coming up because, I don't have a football team, but hey, if my fantasy league does good, then I'm doing good, right? Because that's more money in my pocket. So, on that fantasy note, on the statistic note, on the overall player note, is there anybody better than Mahomes out there right now? Honestly, in the game, I don't believe so. I think Mahomes is the best football player. I think he's the best overall player. He's obviously the best quarterback in the league right now. And he has the best coach to help him get to that point. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be very competitive again this year. Even without, their running back, Damian Williams, opted out. It doesn't matter. Anybody can go get a running back. Anybody can go find someone. Mahomes is the best player in the league. Now, he has some rookie competition coming up. And he's actually got a little bit of sophomore and third-year players coming up. You got Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. Those guys are entering year 3. I think they're both due for a very big year. I think it's going to be a lot of offense in that division. I mean, Big Ben's still over there in Pittsburgh, still, signing autographs, making a lot of money, and throwing touchdowns. But I think Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson have a very high statistic year. I also think Kyler Murray down there at the Cardinals will have a high statistic year. But one of the quarterbacks that I don't talk about very much, and it's because he had a very bad, one of most people would in their careers, injuries, is Tua Tagovailoa. The guy, when he played for Alabama, was a very impressive lefty. You don't see a southpaw very much in the NHL or in the NFL at QB. You just don't see it. One of the last people that he kind of reminds me of is Vic. He has that instinct. He's kind of faster. He's, got the instinct to when to pass, when to throw. And if he is truly healthy, and he can, maybe watch Fitzpatrick for a couple games and kind of get used to the NFL a little bit and see what happens, Tua might be due for a good season. And it might be interesting to watch what happens down in Miami. Do I think they stand a chance in that division? No. They're third at best in that division. But they could, turn around and win 6-7 games and then maybe next year be very competitive. They probably need to get him a decent receiver, get him obviously a line, but maybe, just maybe, Miami might be competitive. And it'd be kind of nice for a franchise that's been in the gutter for so long to kind of come back and kind of look better or just be better. So we'll see. I don't know, but I don't think Tua is the answer. But he is a very fun player to watch. All right, so on those injury notes, Alex Smith, who had one of the most gruesome leg injuries I've ever seen in my life, is out throwing, out trying to be competitive again, and could change my mind about the Washington football team. He could get what the team formerly known as the Redskins to a few games where they could win. He's a game manager, but he's a guy that knows how to win. He just doesn't. He hasn't ever been on a very good team. So if he comes back, that could be very good news for Washington. I think that I think he'd be better as a coach right now because if he does come back and anything happens to that leg again, it would be probably the end of his career for sure. But we'll see. Science is crazy these days. We are all getting better. We're all getting more scientifically healed faster. So maybe I'm wrong. But I don't know if he's actually ready to play. He looks like he's in good shape. He looks like he's been really doing good. So we'll see. That was one of the most gruesome injuries I've ever seen. I don't know if I would even want to come back from that kind of injury. So definitely we'll get ready to see it. So I do got to talk about boxing. Last week we were talking about the September 12th Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight. It got postponed, and I hate that because I made plans to go watch that fight, and now you push back, 2 months. But it might be good for both the fighters. They might need to make sure they're hitting the weights. They might need to make sure they're staying in shape, and we'll see. I think postponing fights is a cowardly move. I don't know who it is on, but usually there is a fighter who is not prepared and they're scared. And if I had to guess, Roy Jones would probably fit that description. And I really hope that everything's all right. I hope the fight actually gets on because I think it would be good for this boxing. And I think if we had an old man league, something like that, it'd be a lot of fun for the sport. But I can't really say too much. Hopefully everything is all right with that fight. All right. Last little bit here that I got to talk to you about today. I've got to talk about baseball. I didn't really do so much last week, but there's baseball going on. Now, my Cardinals aren't playing. They've played 5 games. Sad thing is, they're still not the bottom of their division after only playing 5 games. The Pirates are, which is terrible, if you tell me. Cardinals are 2-3. They got coronavirus struck, and they haven't been able to play since. And it kills me because if they were on, I'd be watching baseball all the time right now. But I don't get to. And so right now, even after a loss yesterday, I believe the Athletics are the best team in baseball as of right now. I think the Yankees are the best offense, but the Athletics are the best overall team. They have the best pitching. They have the best hitting. But there's also a team over in Chicago that would like to argue that for me. The A's won 9 games in a row. But the Cubbies are 12-3 right now. They got an average ERA of 4.0. And their batting average is 244, and they're averaging like 4 runs per game. So to me, they should be going extras every game with those stats. But somehow they are finding ways to win games. They are 12-3. Does that make them the best team in baseball? Statistically, yes. but I still believe the Athletics are the best overall team. And with that, the Cubs, if they ever get to play the Cardinals, are still going down. But baseball has been going on. It's been interesting. You have a lot of teams, the Yankees, the Twins, the Athletics. They're looking really stout right now. The Cubs looking pretty stout right now. But there's a team in the NL East who's kind of a surprise team right now leading their division. It's the Miami Marlins. No one expected them to even win very many games this year. Is Derek Jeter onto something? Have they finally figured out their team? They are leading the NL East, and it didn't think it was even possible 2 years after Derek Jeter signed for that team. But here they are, and they're playing baseball. And they're 8-4. They're not doing terrible. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Miami Marlins. We'll see if they can keep going. I mean, it's only a 60-game season, and most teams are 12 to 15 to 16 games into the season. And that's a fifth of the way there. That's 20% of the way there. So that's a good start. Keep it up, Miami. It'd be nice to see you in the playoffs again. All right, guys. I don't have a whole lot left. Basketball is the biggest thing going in sports. I will try to do something like I did at the beginning of the show and play one of my favorite sports moves of all time. Sports play, sports highlights, something like that. I will do that each week opening my show. So this is Sports Life. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoy. I enjoy talking, and I love sports. I'll talk to you guys next week.